I love making something out of nothing. I'm not trained, but I am brave and determined. Of course, I could hire a professional, but DIY first. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So today I am starting a project that I've really been procrastinating on, but it's one that I've been wanting to do ever since we moved into this house, and that is a container garden. I've been wanting to do a garden. I think maybe the previous owners had a garden at some point, but I grew up with my mom doing gardens most years, and I would help her out in the garden, but obviously we did them in on the ground. I thought that doing a container garden would be easier. It'll save my back and it'll cut down on weeds. That's my hope anyway. I consider myself a beginner, so I thought this would be a good, easy way to be able to have a garden but make it less intimidating. The place where I'm going to have the garden, I needed it to be easily removable. We do plan to replace the fence at some point. It's in pretty bad shape, so I didn't want that to keep preventing me from doing this garden. I have these gray bins. They are number 5, so if you look on the bottom of your bins, they have different numbers on them, and so number 5 is supposed to be food safe. So I do have some food safe containers, but I want them to look nice. I don't want to be looking at gray storage bins in the yard, so I'm going to build a surround for the containers out of cedar fence posts. And I also have some pressure treated wood to use as the supports. And I believe that once I build this, the weight of the dirt will keep it in place and keep the wind from blowing it away. That's my hope. So this should be a pretty simple build. Now, the gardening part is yet to be determined, but let's go ahead and put this thing together. Hopefully this will be a really quick project, and then I can move on with my day because the weather is beautiful today and I would like to be able to get out and enjoy the weather some. So let's get started. For the structure, I am using pressure treated pine. This is basically what you would use if you were building a fence, and that sounds really weird with these on. Let me take those off. But yeah, using pressure treated pine. So these are 2x4, but I'm thinking that for what I'm doing, that maybe I don't need like a full 2x4, and I can save wood if I cut these in half to make them sort of like a 2x2. Sort of. I mean, they'll be slightly longer on one side than a 2x2, but you know, you get the gist. But I think I can save money, and I think it'll be pretty, you know, substantial enough to get the job done if I cut these in half. So that's what I'm going to do. I've cut 4 of these, and I'm going to cut them in half. 2 pieces will be able to make the supports for 1 bin. So I will need 8 pieces. I'm gonna start with 2 bins because I bought 3 bags of soil, and I don't know how much, I don't know how far that will go, if 1 bag will do 1 bin, or if it, you know, if it takes a lot of soil. I'm trying to be economical as possible. Plus, I'm a beginner, so if I just need to do 2 bins this year and get the hang of it, then maybe I can add to it for next year if it goes well. So we're just gonna see, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut these in half and then figure out the fence post situation and get that taken care of. This should come together pretty quickly. So now what I'm trying to figure out with the structure is whether or not to put the support pieces directly in line with the bin or to the outside. Not quite sure. So if I did to the outside, there would be a piece on each side. Then the bend, another piece. And then the next piece would come from this side up and kind of wrap around. Or do I make it to where it kind of like rests on top? And that would still make a gap. So I guess it's just a question of, do I want a gap? And I think, well, I think it would just be smarter to cut it the longer length. And that way, if that doesn't work, I can always cut it down. I can always make it shorter, but I can't make it longer if I need it to be longer. So I think I'm going to go with the longer cut. And that way I can fine tune it if I feel like I need to. And cut it down. So using my real life measurement method, use the actual item to get a measurement, then cut it. And then I can use that measurement for the other ones. So yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go with that. And we'll see how it turns out. I want to say something too. I feel like rookie mistake. I feel like I need to address this because you guys know how I've been talking about my circular saw. This is the 1+ HP brushless circular saw from Ryobi. And I've been talking about how it's been cutting off on me just like randomly. It'll start, stop, start, stop. And I'll change the battery. It'll do it again. It's like been a big headache for me. And also in cold weather, my nail gun has been kind of doing the same thing. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And I thought it was because of the cold. How about I think it was the battery all along? Let me show you. Okay, this is the battery that I've been using. I got this battery, I believe, when I bought a drill or something. And I have, later on I went and bought another one. Either I bought another one or I bought another device and it came with it. And I know that I bought a battery, also like an extra one. I had 3 gloves. I had 3. This is a 1.5, have 2 of those, and then I had a 2.5. The 2.5 died. It just stopped charging. It wouldn't, like I couldn't get a charge back into it, so I just got rid of that one. But I have 2 of these 1.5s. As I'm saying this, I know people are probably like, how ridiculous. Obviously, this tiny little battery is not strong enough to run this circular saw. And I think that was the problem all along. So I'm blaming Ryobi, and I'm like, I may have to get rid of Ryobi and do something else, blah, blah, blah. And the whole time, it's been me, of course. So I bought this battery. If you can see the difference, right? This is the 8 AH compared to the 1.5. I used the circular saw with this one, cut like butter, no problem at all. I said all the time I've wasted, I just had to shake my head. So anyway, got a new battery. So from now on, if I have to buy more batteries, I mean, this thing wasn't cheap, but I think my time is way more valuable than the money I had to spend on this. Obviously, I needed it. So I'm going to use this one with the nail gun today to see if it maybe that was the problem with the nail gun all along as well. So I just thought I would share that because I just thought it was hilarious. Funny, not funny, right? I just thought it was like ridiculous that this whole time I've been struggling to use these tools and all I needed was a better battery. Story of my life.
A wooden bucket.
Yeah, this is the garden.
Hey, was it raised?
Yeah.
Come on, girl. Really good. You can have you some cucumber fried cucumber sandwiches.
We gotta decide what you want to plant. Okay, so I do have these 1 1/4 inch exterior screws. I don't know if you can see that. I have these 1 1/4 inch exterior screws. So they do have the whatever the coating is on here to prevent rust. One of the things that I need to consider is that screwing into this piece of wood, I do want to make sure I'm going to miss the screws because I'm going to be drilling into 2 different sides of the wood and I don't want the screws to hit against each other. So I need to map out how to place the screws to avoid them hitting each other. And once I have that, then we'll have a box. And I'm probably gonna have to cut down one side of some of these because I think that like they're gonna be like extending past the top of the wood. Like I don't think 3 of these will fit on this one piece. I think there will be a little bit of overlap, which I don't want. I want everything flush to the top. I do want to make sure I have a little bit of a gap in between each board because wood does expand and contract. So I don't want them to get too compressed against each other and then start to bow. So I'm gonna put a little bit of a space in between and I need to figure out what is the right, I need to find something I can use as a spacer. I think this will work. So I have this metal plate. This is actually a brace or a bracket that you could use to attach multiple pieces of wood together. So I'm gonna use this. Let me see if I have 2 of them. Okay, I have 2 smaller ones. So that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use these as my spacers, and I think that'll give me just enough distance there to allow the wood to expand and contract. Yeah, so let's put this thing together. Okay, one box down. It works exactly the way I hoped. It is a box that can surround the bin, and the bin can be placed down into it, and there's enough like wiggle room to be able to remove the bin easily or remove this surround piece from around it. I can also put, I think I'm gonna put some kind of trim around the top just to finish off the top edge, but I'm gonna build the other one first. So I figured out with 2 fence posts, I can do all of the side pieces. 1 fence post will do 3 of the short sides, and then I'll have to figure out these sides. I think 1 fence post will do 2 long sides, so I would need 3 fence posts for the long side and 2 for the short side, so I would need 5. I think I have 4 left, but I have some scrap which might be long enough to do the other 2 of these, so I will see. I bought 10, so I will see, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the second one, and then we'll go from there. Guys, just a quick update. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the surround for the garden bed. I did get some more pieces of the cedar fence pickets, but I did catch a small, pretty insignificant error. Let me show you what I did and how to avoid making this mistake. These are the 2 boxes. One is stacked on top of the other, but I caught this because when I stacked them, they didn't line up properly. So I don't know if you can tell. One is a bit wider than the other. I did test them both out, and the plastic bin will fit into both, but they're not the same because here the short side is overlapping and here the long side is overlapping. So if you can see that, the long side here should have been inset, so it should have been in line with this like this one is. So I'm just gonna make that correction. Should be a pretty simple fix, and add the other 2 pieces, and then these boxes will be done and ready for the next phase.